let's now move on to the next topic, that being NFL schedule news. So it was announced today, again, March 25th, as the time I'm recording this. It was announced today the exact kickoff date for the 2025 season. So the 2026 season will be kicking off September 9th at 8:20 p.m. Eastern Time. And that will be kicking off with the Seattle Seahawks hosting the first game. And the key thing about that date that you might not pick up on unless you're looking at a calendar is September 9th is a Wednesday. So for the first time since 2012, the NFL regular season is going to start on a Wednesday rather than a Thursday. And of course, Wednesdays in general, not a very common game for football games or NFL games. The NFL has done Wednesday games on occasion. They did, I believe, Wednesday was Christmas this year. They did a couple Wednesday games, I think, during the COVID season, if I remember right. So Wednesday games have happened, but pretty rare. And for the very first week of the NFL season, last time that happened was in 2012. And now the reason that Seahawks game will be on Wednesday is because on Thursday is the first ever NFL game in Melbourne, Australia. And that game will be the Rams hosting the 49ers. So Rams and 49ers will be playing in Australia on Thursday. And that I think the time, if I remember right, lines up to about 6 p.m. Eastern, 8 p.m. Eastern on Thursday. It'll still be the primetime Thursday game for those of us here in the States on Thursday night. But the NFL kickoff game to start off the season will be in Seattle on a Wednesday. Now, the exact opponent for the Seahawks hasn't been announced yet for that game. All you got to do if you want to know who the possible opponents are is look up the Seahawks schedule, and look at the teams they're going to be hosting. But you can already, you can pretty easily cross off a few of the possibilities. So there's really only a couple of teams that it could be for that first game of the season. The Seahawks this year are going to be hosting, obviously, the Cardinals, Rams, and 49ers. And then the Cowboys, Giants, Bears, Chiefs, Chargers, and Patriots. So, obviously, it's possible that they do Seahawks-Patriots and just do Super Bowl rematch right out of the gate. I don't anticipate that they'll do that one. They have done that before. But it's seemed like, at least in recent years, they've gone with saving the, if there's a Super Bowl rematch the next year, they've generally done that matchup later in the season. Like they did Eagles, Chiefs, like they saved that this year for, it was like November or something like that. They saved it for that one. Usually they'll try to do like a rivalry game if they think that's going to be good, or they'll just do another team that's, maybe a big market or that they think will drive viewership. So, because they want this kickoff game to bring big numbers, and being that it's on a Thursday, or in this year's case, a Wednesday, they want it to be a big matchup, but they also don't necessarily want to use the Super Bowl rematch game up at the beginning of the season quite yet. So it's possible they do the Patriots. The Chargers, that's possible, but I don't really see that one happening. Honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if the Chargers have a home game to start week 1, being that the Rams will be out in Australia, so there won't be any scheduling conflicts there. So I wouldn't be surprised if the Chargers end up getting a home game in week 1. Obviously, the Rams and 49ers are out of the question because they'll be in Australia. You could do the Cardinals, but the ceiling for the Cardinals is not expected to be very high. They should be most likely a bottom feeder this year, so I don't anticipate them putting the Cardinals, who are also a small market team, in there. It is a rivalry game, so use that later. I don't anticipate them using that as the kickoff game. Which that leaves the Giants. I also don't anticipate that one. If they did, it would just be, hey, the Giants have John Harbaugh. They've got, Jackson Dart back. They've got Cam Scadaboo healthy, that kind of thing. But at least unless there's something I'm missing, there's not really any connective tissue or storylines between the Seahawks and the Giants in recent memory that I can think of that they would want to put that there in the NFL kickoff game. So I'm going to cross that off. So really, to me, the NFL kickoff game likely comes down to either the Seahawks hosting the Cowboys, which Cowboys would make sense anytime. Again, the Cowboys are just one of the teams that, if the NFL wants a big number, put up the Cowboys. They'll get a good viewership number. So you can put up the Cowboys, and then the other two options, the Chiefs, I could certainly see that as the option. One reason I could see the NFL maybe avoiding that one is if there's uncertainty about whether or not Patrick Mahomes is going to be ready to start Week 1, which of course, at least as of right now, that's certainly unknowable if he's going to be ready. And by the time the NFL full schedule is released in early May, I don't anticipate that that's necessarily going to change. So I would expect they'll probably save that Chiefs game for later as well. Again, they still could put the Chiefs there, but being that the Chiefs struggled in 2025, and again, Patrick Mahomes might not be healthy to start the season right away, I would expect that they maybe don't put Seahawks Chiefs in Week 1. Honestly, if I had to pick, most likely is either the Cowboys or the Chicago Bears, which that one could make sense just for the fact that you've got, two young coaches, young head coach in Mike McDonald, who just won the Super Bowl with this team, young head coach in Ben Johnson, sort of the newest, one of the newest young offensive gurus that fascinates most viewers. Again, all that the Bears and Caleb Williams did under Ben Johnson, especially on offense. So I could certainly see them putting Seahawks Bears for Week 1 as well. But Seahawks Cowboys, I wouldn't be surprised by that one at all either for Week 1. So that's the NFL schedule news for now. Again, we'll find out who the Seahawks opponent is and the rest of the schedule. That will be early May, generally a week or two after the NFL draft is over.